We welcome in Sal Licata and John Jastremski for some more Mets talking. Do you have one of those OMG T-shirts yet, Sal?
No, not yet.
You got to get.
You got to work on that.
He's waiting for a free one.
Send me one, I'll wear it.
Exactly. If it's free, give me 3. All right, Mark Vientos and Jose Iglesias were not on the Mets opening day roster. Sal, where would the Amazons be without them?
You know, you look what these guys have been able to do. I mean, they're baseball players. You talk about bat-to-ball skills. That's what's been lacking here. So, obviously, with the Mets, what they've been able to do with the contributions from Iglesias, from Mark Vientos, it's been huge. They wouldn't be winning as much as they have. And I know the Mets right now, their record overall, everybody say, oh, 500 team, you know, sure, sometimes above it, sometimes below it. That's the definition of 500 team. But really, they're not that. They've been much better than that if you take out the first part of the season. And right now, I think you have to, because they're a different team. They've been a better team for an extended period here, but those guys have been the difference makers. We talk about the stars and Lindor and Brandon Nimmo, what they've done. Guys like Iglesias contributing. The Mets would be nowhere without them.
No doubt. And throughout 162 games, you need unlikely contributors to step up if you're going to go and have a fun season. And this Iglesias storyline has come completely out of nowhere. I mean, Jose Iglesias looked like a guy whose career was done. He's thinking about his pop career, for goodness sakes. He has made the most of every opportunity. The clutch runners in scoring position numbers are off the charts, and it's to a point with Iglesias, we talk about it all the time, where you actually want to see him play a lot more. I think Vientos has obviously had more of an impact because of what he's done as far as lengthening out the lineup. He's obviously done it for a longer period of time now. But I think Iglesias has become like this cult hero within the Mets. He's this unifying force within the clubhouse. They're all in on this OMG thing. And when you got vibes like that at the plate, and then you have the vibes like that off the field, it leads to success. It really does.
Turning double plays as well is a big factor with Iglesias. His defense has been great.
Yeah, sure. And, you know, they definitely were unlikely, but now when they come up in a big spot, you expect them to come through, and they have been. All right, Luis Severino pitched so well, we don't have to talk about him not backing up home twice. But, JJ, at 6-3, is he now a top candidate for Comeback Player of the Year?
Well, when you pitch to an 8.5 ERA like Luis Severino did a year ago, and now all of a sudden you look at the numbers, and they're far more impressive. They're steady throughout this first half. I think he's been one of the most valuable Mets. We could talk about Comeback Player of the Year. I think if I'm ranking valuable Mets in this first half in the 2024 season, I'm putting Severino, in the top 5, top 6? He's taking the ball every 5th day. To me, he's been hands down, Sal, their most consistent starter. And there were questions about, hey, is Luis Severino cooked? After last year, he was tipping his pitches. He failed miserably in a contract year. Credit David Stearns. They bought low on him. He's pitched really well. Yeah, if I'm a Met fan, I'm giddy over what Severino has brought me.
Bought low on him, took a gamble on him. Coming into the year without Kodai Senga, Severino was going to be asked to be their best pitcher, and he's been that. So it's been a little inconsistent throughout. Obviously, he started out on fire, and he's been inconsistent as of late. But without him anchoring that rotation really from start to finish, every 5 days going out there, whenever they ask him to pitch, he goes out there, and he's gotten the job done, especially when you consider, Eamon, to JJ's point, guy was throwing batting practice last year. Yeah, I mean, without Severino, the Mets would be in trouble here. He's been a nice stabilizing force in that rotation.
You know, back in May when the team was scuffling, it would look like Luis Severino would be on the block because we approached the trade deadline, but obviously that has changed. And Sal, during the hot stretch in June, we discussed that the Mets should definitely now be buyers for this team at the deadline. As we get closer and closer to July 30th, how aggressive should David Stearns be?
It's a great question. You want to be aggressive, obviously. They have a team that should be a playoff team, and once you get in, I really believe this now. I didn't think this earlier in the year where I thought they could be a playoff team going into the season, but I thought they would back in and really be a team that couldn't do any damage. Now I feel differently. I think if they get in, they could do damage. So you want to be aggressive and take advantage of an opportunity to get in the postseason, and anything could happen, as we've seen with the Phillies a couple years ago, the Diamondbacks as well last year. So anything could happen, but you can't be reckless, and I don't think that the Mets will. Meaning they're not going to trade top prospects for guys. What they can do is take on money to get good players. And I think that's where Steve Cohen can use his resources best and be aggressive taking on bad contracts.
I'm with you that this team is far more formidable and far more dangerous than I thought they were going to be at the start of the season. But this is not an all-in year for the Mets. And I think if you ask Steve Cohen, if you ask David Stearns this question in April and May, I think they'd give you the same answer now is, look, we think we're a playoff team. Steve Cohen was going on record saying, hey, we're a playoff team. The team was, 9-10 games under 500. He ended up being right in that conversation, in that way of thinking. but they're not going to make short-sighted trades. David Stearns is coming in here. This is a long-term project for him. I think making the playoffs in year one would be gravy. I think to Sal's point, they will look to add financially and flex when they can because of Steve Cohen's wherewithal. They're going to add to the bullpen. They're maybe going to look to add an arm or two in that rotation even, perhaps. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's the case, if there's somebody that is that appealing for the Mets, depending, of course, on what happens here with Senga. If Senga goes down with an injury, they might be more aggressive as far as that goes. I think they could surprise you with a move. They'll be in it. They're not going to be a team that's all in saying, hey, we have to be like the Angels were last year to try to, like, convince Ohtani to stay. Mets are not going to be that short-sighted.